All right, so you're back in the ring on August 10th.
Yeah.
How has camp been going so far? I know, has this been a little bit last minute for you, or are you always sort of ready to jump into the next fight?
I'm always ready to jump in. After my last fight, I just took like a week off and I started training right after. I'm always ready and prepared. This camp's been great. I've been working here in Mississauga actually with Coach Glenn Ehrhaz, Socrates Celestial, and I've been doing some sparring with Logan Cotton McGuinness. So everything's doing great right now. Next week I'm gonna be going down to back to Montreal to train with my coach Ian McKillop, and then I'm coming back here for the fight. So I feel really good. I'm ready. I'm prepared.
You have an interesting camp because you get to travel around a lot and kind of learn from different people. Do you think, because you didn't have the longest amateur career, but do you think this kind of makes up for it? Kind of traveling around a lot.
Yeah, it does make up for it. I got to travel everywhere. I got to learn from different coaches. In Montreal, I got to train with like Howard Grant, Ian McKillop. I got good sparring down there. So I'm learning a lot from different coaches, from greatest coaches from Canada too. So it makes up for it.
I was watching online when you were working with the Grant brothers, and they were teaching you a lot about fighting on the inside. Is that maybe the biggest thing they've been working with you on recently?
Howard Grant's been helping me fight when I'm in the ropes and fighting on the inside, and at the same time I got Ian McKillop helping me fight on the outside, using my footwork, using my long jabs, and using learning how to fight outside of the ring around there. So I feel great. I'm learning a lot from everyone down there in Montreal.
Now we don't know who your opponent is in August yet, but so far, you've kind of pretty much blown everyone out. Are you happy to keep doing that, or is there a little bit of you that says, I want someone that's going to test me a little bit?
In the same time, I'm happy, but I do want to have a challenge where someone actually goes in there with the stronger than it's actually really strong and lasts more than 2 or 3 rounds. But this is not my job. It's actually my manager, promoter. They bring in these guys and they think it's gonna be a tougher opponent for me. Right? Most of my opponents have been undefeated, so we thought that those guys would be tougher for me. But they actually end up quitting, or I end up knocking them out. So I'm just going in there doing my job, and I'm doing good. I'm happy about it.
Well, I imagine the most frustrating one must have been Laszlo Fekete. He was 6-0, and then he just kind of stopped it. He was so bizarre in the ring, and then just basically quit, and the ref waved it off. How frustrating is that to have to go through the camp and think you're going to be able to get something out of it? Do you feel as though man, I just wasted my time going in and taking this fight?
Well, not really. I learned something from that fight. The guy Laszlo Fekete was trying to bait me in, and he had his hands down. And I just stayed focused and stayed calm, and I just did my job. I went in there and I hurt him. I know he quit because he was hurt and didn't want to fight after that. I watched all his fights, and all his fights he's never been hurt, never been attacked, and I was the only opponent that actually hurt him. So I learned how to fight calm and be relaxed. Don't fall in for his tricks. So I know, even though it was a short fight, I know I accomplished something.
And as you've been moving along, you've kind of slowly been going down in weight, and now I know Mark Irwin wants to campaign you at 118 at bantamweight.
Yeah.
What's it been like, because it's you fought, I think, as an amateur at 150, then you got down to 130 as a pro.
Yeah.
Do you think that 118 now is the weight where you think you're strongest?
Yeah, well, I like 118, but I feel really strong at 122. I might stay at 122. We'll see how it is. I might even fight at 118 one more time just to experiment. I like experimenting. I don't struggle making 118, but at 122 I'm stronger and I'm faster, and I feel amazing at 122. So I see myself more at fighting at 122.
What's been the difference? Because that's from when you were an amateur to now, that's 30 pounds of weight loss.
Yeah.
Is it just being a full-time athlete now? The weight just comes off?
It's just like being a full-time athlete. All I do is train all day. And plus is the diet. I'm learning what to eat, what not to eat, and I'm careful what I eat, and it's all my full-time training. So it's all the weight just drops really fast.
Yeah, not eating at Wendy's probably.
No fast foods, homemade food only.
So how did you get started in boxing in the first place? Because I know you did a little bit of judo as a kid and whatnot. What got you into it?
I started out in Taekwondo as a little kid, and then I remember one time I was watching boxing with my dad, and Manny Pacquiao was up there, and then that's when he was rising up as a fighter, and I saw all the Filipinos cheering and you know, it looked really cool, and I said to myself, I want to represent Filipinos that way. I want to fight, and I want to start fighting. I love punching. When I was in Taekwondo, my master there told my dad, like, Mark punches too much, and Taekwondo is all about your feet, right? So I just like boxing, and I was watching Ali from the movie Ali with Will Smith, and that movie inspired me a lot too. You know, Muhammad Ali inspired me, Manny Pacquiao inspired me. So my dad took me to a gym in London, Ontario called Ring London Boxing Club, and then I started my career from there as an amateur.
It's funny to think that, you know, because Pacquiao is one of the current stars in boxing, but it is funny to think that he's actually already influenced another generation of fighters.
Yeah, he has. Yeah, he has.
Has it been tough watching, you know, because Manny's lost 2 consecutive fights, and, you know, Boom Boom Batista just lost a fight,
yeah.
Nino Donaire. Has it been tough kind of on the Filipino boxing community watching the biggest stars lose?
Yeah, it's been tough on all the Filipinos, but, you know, to me, it just motivates me because, you know, since all them are losing, it gives me a chance to, like, get my name out there. So, like, if all the big names are losing, all the Filipinos will hear, oh, there's another Filipino from Canada that won this fight, and everyone will start following me. So, you know, it kind of motivated me seeing them lose, even though it hurt me. But, you know, it's kind of like a motivation to me too.
And I think, you know, people have noticed you way more than a lot of other 5-0 fighters, and you have that support from the Filipino community. You've been able to get sponsors that other fighters that are 5-0 don't.
Yeah.
Has that been kind of crazy for you? I mean, is it weird to think, man, you know, I'm so young in my career, but yet I'm getting this kind of attention, and people are putting money behind me too?
Yeah, it's actually a blessing. You know, I've been dreaming of this since I was a kid. You know, having all the help I need, and it's just like I'm really, like, lucky for all that. You know, I'm actually surprised I'm getting all these people messaging me for just for sponsorships. You know, I got a new sponsor coming down from Vancouver, the Philcan Clothing. They're a Filipino-Canadian group, and they're making me some gear, and I'm really proud of that. You know, especially getting help from Hennessy with Adam Harris. He's been doing a lot of work for me, helping me get all my fights, and I'm lucky I got hooked up by my manager, Marc Erdman. So everything actually is going really well, and I'm getting well known everywhere in Montreal, you know, and in Ontario. This fight is going to be a really big fight for me because, you know, when I win, everyone in Ontario is going to know who I am. So I'm very proud of that.
Yeah, I hear you sold a whole bunch of tickets for this fight already.
Yeah.
You kind of have this reputation as a guy who sells a lot of tickets. Yeah. Is that you out, you know, with the word of mouth getting out there with people? You have people working with you. How have you become, you know, such a good draw locally so far?
Well, I know, like, I have, like, the Filipino community, and they're spreading the word everywhere, especially in London. Like, most of the tickets are coming from London, Ontario, and, like, in London, Ontario, like, I'm proud to be from London. I represent London, and they're proud to have me. So, you know, I'm gonna have, like, close to probably 500 people from London, mainly from London and from Toronto area, but mainly from London. That's where I have all my support. London is, like, behind my back, and I'm proud of that. So yeah, I have big support from London, Ontario. They've been spreading my name everywhere, and I'm proud of that at all. I'm proud of that.
By the end of this year, you're probably going to be, you know, 6-0, 7-0. Maybe, you know, maybe we can squeeze in another 3.
Yeah.
Next year is the goal, a Canadian title, something of that nature.
Yeah, and, you know, hopefully I can fight in the Philippines or fight in my hometown in London, and I'm hoping for something like that.